I also think that the epigraph is an interesting one to open the whole cycle, where you have a fragmentary tragedy, because we have Arthur talk about how he wants Camelot to be a kingdom that lasts 1,000 years, and you know that that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that that's an interesting way to open the cycle. Um, and if it is Cassabettes and Camelot, then I don't know if we'll see the destruction, but destruction seems to be destined for Camelot.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to keep certain elements of that. I mean, like I said, this first play is the origin of King Arthur. Second play is Sir Gawain and his family, and Gawain and the Green Knight. And the second one is really about masculine violence and whatnot. We see all of the brothers of Gawain. I even just today wrote a really great scene where Modred is being a brat and he's being scolded by Arthur, and Modred is a budding psychopath, and he's like, okay, uncle, but I'll never forget this, uncle, which is going to set up his revenge and his attempted usurpation of Arthur at the end. The third play is going to be Guinevere and Assault and the knights. And Launcelot is set up as sort of one of the things we get here too that I like is that in this play cycle, I'm restoring Gawain to be the top knight. I always preferred Sir Gawain from Gawain and the Green Knight to Launcelot and Tristram. To me, they were usurpers because both of them are foreigners. They're not from Camelot. They come from France in the case of Launcelot and from Cornwall, which is on the English Channel in the case of Tristram. So they are not Camelotians or Camelotians. They are outsiders, and so there's a sense of xenophobia that pervades this play because this play is very much in tune with the current times. There's a lot of Donald Trump and the rise of fascism in this. There's a little bit in this play. There's more in the second play and throughout the other plays. But anyway, then the fourth play is going to be the Grail Quest, and my lead is going to be Percival or Parzival, as I call him in this play, and I'm going to diminish Sir Galahad because I want to reduce the whole Lancelot Galahad, which they were later usurpers of the tale. They were elevated later in the mythology. And then number 5 is going to be the fall of Camelot. Just as we have here in this play, we hear of the Battle of Baden Hill as being the rise of Camelot, and Arthur going from general to warlord, and then for some reason we don't know because Merlin apparently has fallen into a coma for several months. When Merlin gets out of the coma, Arthur has risen from warlord to being crowned as king. And by the fifth and final play, we're going to have the fall of Camelot and that. And I don't know. Merlin doesn't appear in the second play. He's mentioned, but he's talked about. Merlin does. He will survive Arthur and still be alive, even though he's old. But where exactly is going to fit in? I mean, he's certainly. If you want to look for a parallel to my Genghis Khan plays, if you remember, Genghis Khan had an older brother who in real life lived to be about 108 or 110. I forget the name of the actual character, but it was his real name. And so Merlin is probably one of these figures that's going to live to 100 or so, which makes him ancient in a time when people were dying naturally in their mid-40s.